Hi, this is Amelia from ameliaajohnson.com. Do you recognize the signs of thyroid disease in your dog? So, subscribe to my channel if you want to find out more about the topics that I discuss, or go to my website, ameliaajohnson.com, where you will find more information about many topics. But as someone that's certified in both human and canine nutrition, I wanted to discuss with you whether and how you can tell your dog has a thyroid disease. So, I have a library full of books, and one is for people, of course, on thyroid disease, because I wasn't sure whether I had thyroid disease because I was showing signs, but mainly I found out it was just stress related. One of the books that I refer to whenever my dog, my second American Eskimo that I've had in the last 30 years, started to display symptoms, I went to one of the foremost experts, who is Dr. Dodds. And you can ask her anything. Fortunately, she just wrote this book back in 2011, about the time my dog was really going through her hypothyroid disease. And Dr. Dodds explains that there really is a canine thyroid epidemic in the United States. And she goes on in her book, and it was really helpful and comforting to me to be able to read her book and know the resources and read through the case studies that she provided to give me hope in treating my dog. Now, I always took my dog to a integrative veterinarian, someone that took their knowledge beyond just Western medicine and could do so many different modalities in treating my little Shotzi. So how did this start? How did I know that, I needed to follow my instincts and get Shotzi to a vet? Well, she had a seizure. And she had been attacked by a couple dogs. So I didn't know whether this was, a result of the trauma of the attack or not. But whenever the blood work was done, the holistic vet discovered that she was hypothyroid. So we went on to lay out a plan to treat her. And we treated her with a compounded medication rather than the usual medication that the Western vets provide. And of course, it took a lot of testing and a lot of money over the years. But she was treated for 7 years with hypothyroidism. So I want you to be aware that your dog may be hypothyroid. A lot of vets just kind of skim over this and they're not digging deeper. And you want to be your pet's advocate and really dig deeper on whatever is going on. If your dog starts acting lethargic, doesn't want to exercise, especially if your dog has been a canine athlete like my little girl was, you want to be proactive and get some tests done. And don't quit until you really dig deep and figure out how you can turn your dog's behavior around. So I wanted to just touch lightly on some of the topics that Dr. Dodds covers in her book. Again, the Canine Thyroid Epidemic. You will find this book very, very helpful. And she basically says, what are the signs of canine thyroid disease? So let me cover them for you, some of them. And that is maintaining a healthy skin and coat. Now, my little girl never lost her healthy skin and coat. So that would never have been a sign, but some dogs do get really scaly skin, dry skin, they start itching a lot. So that could be a sign. Also, she gained weight, and that is definitely a sign. Regardless of the best food that I had her on and one that should have maintained her weight, she kept gaining weight. So that was a sign. Her mental alertness and concentration changed a bit. And she didn't fight infections, but many dogs do. I didn't really take her body temperature, but that's a sign. And controlling the growth and maturation. Well, she was already an adult dog by the time we detected her hypothyroidism. So another thing, if you are breeding a dog, they may be hypothyroid, and you can tell by their reproductive output. So let me go on a little bit more. Of course, she had a neuromuscular problem too, and I noticed that. She was weaker muscularly. So that is a sign of hypothyroidism. Let's see. Of course, I mentioned the seizures. And I want to go on here quickly because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Her heart was fine. And I think a lot of this was because we detected her hypothyroidism early. And that's why I'm saying be an advocate for your pet and make sure you're finding out what you need to find out to help your pet. So she goes through some case studies, and I said those case studies were very reassuring to me because they explain, what was happening in other breeds of dogs and why they could have been happening. Maybe it was the breeding of the dogs. Maybe the dogs were inbred, or, we're breeding these dogs so often for their show qualities, their performance qualities, and sometimes we may be breeding hypothyroidism or thyroid disease into the dogs. So if you're a breeder, be aware of that. So she gives some really take-home points that we can all benefit from, and I want to just mention some of these. And they are, again, you must act as your dog's health care advocate. And secondly, you have the power to make a substantial difference in your dog's health. So all the knowledge in the world can't help your dog if you are afraid to trust your instincts. I have found in my pet sitting career, sometimes my clients would take their pets to the veterinarian, and the veterinarian would just give them a quick look over, and the animal still wouldn't improve. So again, if that's happening in your case, make sure you go back to that vet or switch vets. Get a different opinion, just like we do with our own health, and find out what's going on with your pet. And if you're doing research on the internet, make sure you're referring to either the universities that are doing the research. Don't rely on your friends because we all have opinions. And I can tell you my story of what happened with my dog, but your dog is a different dog. So don't rely on your friends' input. My medication regime for my pet would be different than it is for your pet. So again, get a reliable resource so that your dog can be treated if it is hypothyroid or has thyroid disease. Let's see. And again, be a detective. Figure it out. I am sorry the phone's ringing. So the other thing is really screen potential veterinarians and seek out a vet. If you feel your vet is kind of hem-hawing, ask them if they know an expert vet that has the expertise with thyroid disease, and kind of give them an out so that they don't feel like, you're holding them accountable for something they don't know. Be nice to your vet. They're trying, but some vets will bully you. Don't let that happen. Remember, you are there for your pet. And again, let's see, pay attention to even the smallest physical or behavioral changes. And this is one of the things that people aren't aware of. If your dog starts acting aggressive, really check out that thyroid and dig deep. Do all the thyroid tests, not just the basic test. Go deep. And you will notice a lot of trainers are now being very aware that there's thyroid disease involved with aggression. So it's not always environment. It could be thyroid disease. So I want you to be your pet's advocate. And I've been fortunate because I have always worked with pets, and I've had businesses where I could be with my pet quite a bit. So my gut instinct was there for me. And it may be that you're a very, very busy person and you're working long hours and you're just not paying that close attention to your pet. Maybe when you're coming home, the pet that once greeted you at the door with a tail wagging is no longer doing that. And you're just passing it off to that dog, that dog being a little bit older. And that may not be the case at all. It may be a thyroid disease. So if you feel that you want to spend more time with your dog and you just need to be there for your dog, you'd rather spend time at home with your dog than you would going to work at something you don't really enjoy that much. Maybe you want to become a pet professional. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to do what I'm doing. And I've been through all the pet professions so that I can kind of guide you, like the pros and cons of doing this or doing that. And now that I'm online, I can tell you that I'm thoroughly enjoying online and the pet business that I have online. So if that's something you're thinking about, reach out to me. But in the meantime, go ahead, subscribe to this channel, and go to my blog, ameliaajohnson.com. You will find a form on there also that you can fill out if you want to reach out to me. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it gave you some more information that was valuable to you, and that you really are your pet's advocate. Be strong. And if you are like me, you are starting every day with gusto and you are enjoying the miracle living that you have with gusto. So thanks for watching. Talk again soon.